Hello, my name is Nick Gordon. I'm a senior here at Simpson, and I did my internship over the Drake Relays, located in downtown Des Moines. Um, a lot of people around Central Iowa know what the Drake Relays are, but basically, it's a huge track and field meet that involves both middle school, high school, college, and elite level slash masters, which are some of our Olympic runners, Olympic throwers. Um, and I just really enjoyed my time here at this internship. So I made this presentation to give you a little insight into what I learned and what my internship at Drake was all about. So here's me after the Drake Relays, which was this past weekend. This started Wednesday, went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So this was me at the end of my shift. I'd worked 10 hours that day, and everybody in the stands left. So this was after we were doing our pickup crew and helping out with meet operations, tearing down for the event. So this was a picture of me after there. And I really enjoyed my time working the actual relays because I'd been working there for months, building up, being the marketing communications intern that I am. A lot of the stuff that I did involved me being behind a computer and behind the scenes stuff. So actually being able to finally get to the event and see just what all the work I'd been putting into was for was really special to me. Being able to see the thousands of people that showed up and just packed the Drake University Stadium and the Blue Oval was really cool. Seeing those athletes pour out their heart and soul on the track, knowing that this event was one of the top, most prestigious track and field events in the country. It's called America's Classic for a reason, and it really lived up to its name. And I really enjoyed being able to work there just this past weekend. So, here's a picture of me after the Drake Road Races, which was this past Saturday. And I was able to take a picture there with Champ the Bulldog. So, Champ the Bulldog was the mascot for this particular event. So, when the finishers for the Drake Road Races were able to, when they won their event, they would come sign Champ the Bulldog. You can kind of see on his head there, there's a signature at the top. I think there were six total signatures, and basically I was the person in charge of the social media for that. So I had my phone out and I was capturing the athletes when they crossed the finish line and capturing their signature on Champ the Bulldog. So that was really cool for me. And then here's a list of some of the things that I was in charge of being the marketing and communications intern. This is just a short list. Keep in mind there's so many different things that I did there and was able to learn. But here are five of some of the main things that I was able to work on throughout the semester. So the first one being manage social media content. So I manage social media content for both Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And what I did is I had an Excel spreadsheet that had 2025 on it, and it basically outlined both newsletters, press releases, and social media posts and ticket prices as well when those went on sale for the Relays app. So I was in charge of updating that calendar with accurate dates for when we were going to post certain content. This allowed me to really work in a capacity where I had to be pretty detail oriented, knowing when to post certain things, when not to. So I thought that was really good for me to be able to actually sit and do that. And so manage social media content. And I also had in my Excel spreadsheet, I had another tab that said 2025 captions. I'd go through, I'd put the date that it was going to be published on, the actual copy and pasted version of the caption, what sites it was going to be on, whether it was Facebook X or Instagram. And I did that for all of my different posts, which really allowed me to be able to help the future intern who's going to be doing my position next year, because I think that's something that would have been really helpful for me, is if that there was a spreadsheet that showed exactly what they did last year in very detailed version of it, because it would help me have grasp on what I wanted to do for this year. The second thing, assisted with event promotion. So really my whole job was to assist with making the Drake Relays the very best version of the Drake Relays. And I think I accomplished that to the best of my ability, being able to just make it when they got to the relays that everybody was able to have what they needed, whether that be me delivering food up to the press box, making sure that everything on the field, people had what they needed to be successful, making sure that the media credentials were where they needed to be for the media. That's another one of the tasks that I didn't mention on here, but I did is I was in charge of the media credentials for everybody who attended the relays. So they would come through, send me an email with their filled out form, and I had to approve or deny where they were going to be able to have access to, whether that was the mix zone, field access, press zone, or all access. So everything. So I was in charge of that, which was really cool. It made me feel like I was very important in that operation. Um, Next, I created email newsletters. So the relays and the road races have a monthly email newsletter that comes out that I was helping to really design. So there would be like five different stories or five different categories on our newsletter that we wanted to touch base on. And those things would differentiate every month, whether that was talking about the tickets that are going on sale, events coming up for Drake. Um, I know our elementary halftime show we did last semester was something that I included in one of our newsletters. So that was really cool to be able to do something that everyone was going to see on a monthly basis and being able to really design something that I felt like was my own. I think that was really important. And created marketing graphics. So that goes in line with a lot of the social media stuff, making graphics for those posts, whether that be photos that are edited to form like have the Drake colors around them or say like some type of Drake slogan for the relays. I was in charge of helping design that, which I thought was really cool, and also helping with the app for the relays is another task that I did. So making sure all that information for the event is accurate for those who came to the event, as I didn't want people to come to the event and then them not have what they needed to be able to get around and know when things were happening at what times, updating the dates and schedules. All of that was important. It's really the behind the scenes stuff that makes the event so special that people kind of take for granted when they just show up to the event. But there's really a lot that goes into forming such an event like this. And I was happy I got to be a part of it. And lastly, I had updated Event Meet program. I was able to use InDesign, which is something I've never used before. My site supervisor, Trey, showed me how to use it. But InDesign is Adobe InDesign is a platform where you can go and you can update different things, and it's very articulate and it's very fine detailed. I really wish I had a bigger computer to work on rather than just my laptop. I think it would have been much easier to use, but I updated all the pictures for all the winners from last year, all the names and all the times into the Event Meet program. So the fans knew who the athletes were who won last year, and telling that story is really important to me. So being able to do that was just something really special. So next, I'm going to go into recommendations. So these are my recommendations for future interns. First, start projects early. This is something that I would say I probably struggled with getting just in terms of procrastination in general, is I always would wait until the last second to do something, which is terrible. I shouldn't do that. And I think this internship really allowed me to help in that capacity, understanding, okay, these people expect this from me in a timely manner. Let's get this done early and let's get a head start on it. So if they come with any questions, I know what I'm talking about, so I don't look like I've just been messing around and not using my time wisely. So I'd say starting projects early would be recommendations for interns going to the Drake relays, but I think that recommendations for anybody, this can be the case. Take initiative on small tasks. I would say that being one of my first internships, I would oftentimes wait for people to kind of tell me what to do rather than going about and handling things that I could have handled without having to go up and ask somebody what to do. So really just trying to stay busy with everything. There can be some downtimes, I'd say, like in the month of October, with the event being 6 months away. There was less stuff to do compared to when we got closer to race time, where I was just busy, busy, busy. There was always something to do during the relays week. So taking initiative on small tasks would definitely help future interns and be a useful tool. and building a relationship with athletes and staff. I think this is probably the most important of everything on here because I built so many different relationships working at the relays. So just with my fellow interns alone, in this picture you can see Joseph and Emily. So they were both interns. Joseph's a senior from Waukee, and Emily's a senior at Drake, and she also is runs for the track and field team there. She won the women's 800. And so I got to take a picture with her after that event. It really made me feel like a champion as well, knowing that one of my friends and colleagues was able to win the relays. So that was really cool. But all those relationships I built, whether it was with Hannah, the women's track coach, Jay, the men's coach, Greg in marketing, Colin in marketing, Trey, the direct co-director of the relays, Ben, director of Grand Blue Mile, Blake Bolden, assistant athletic director. I just made so many different relationships that I really cherish. And I'm going to be able to carry over into future jobs for recommendations or just having those connections is really going to help me. And I'm just happy that I got to meet all these wonderful people. And I think that is really the most important thing for interns is getting yourself out there. Don't kind of be a closed bubble. Go and talk to people, try to get personal with people while still being professional. And it's really going to make your job easier working when you like the people you're working with and you have good relationships. It's going to make it feel not like work. And that's really the important thing uh, for an intern, I would say. This next thing is more kind of detailed, is double checking all graphics and post. Being the marketing intern, like I said, I was in charge of all social media stuff. And so double checking those things just to make sure that what you're putting out to the public is accurate. So oftentimes I would create the post and then I would have to go and confirm with the marketing director, Greg, or assistant director Colin, and I would say, is this cool to post? Are these pictures right? And they would always have different suggestions for me. But that would not have been the case if I just went and just posted it. Things could have been inaccurate, but wouldn't have represented the relays and the relays brand well. So just making sure that everything that you were posting on the internet is good for the brand is super important. And I really would suggest for interns you should double check what you're posting. Um, Last recommendation, ask questions. These people have been doing this much longer than you or I. They know and they're knowledgeable about the things that you want to ask. It's not going to hurt to ask questions. They know that you're new and that you've never done this before and that they want to help you be the best version of yourself. That's why you're there to learn. And you learn by asking questions. So don't be afraid to go out on a limb, ask a question, whether you think it's a silly question, whether you think it's something stupid, just go and do it. That's what I would say is really important because that's what you're there for, is to learn. So, my final remarks from working at the Drake Relays. This picture was from our halftime event we ran, the elementary shuttle run, which was kind of hectic, having a bunch of elementary kids running of their version of a track race on a basketball court. Pretty chaotic in terms of just how many kids are running around, getting them in the right place. But this is a picture from that. You can see me on the far right. I'm next to Athletic Director Blake Bolden, who I formed such a great relationship with. As over time, we really developed a good relationship, and I'm happy that he was my boss for the Drake Relays. I couldn't imagine working for anybody else with his energy and passion that he brings to the relays. But here are my final remarks. Gain valuable marketing experience. Being the marketing intern, I was able to learn so many things about event promotion and what marketing is in general and how detail oriented they are. So being able to gain that experience is something that I would truly value. And I think I'm never going to be able to I take it for granted, but that I got this internship, but it was just so good to be able to work in like a Division 1 office and see how they operate on a day-to-day basis with meat operations, facilities, just so many different people. And so I was able to gain experience that I'm just so grateful that I was able to gain. I improved communication organization. I am much more put together now in terms of my way of organizing things. Like I said, all those different Excel spreadsheets I used was super helpful for me. And being able to I don't think I would have got that good at it if it wasn't for the Drake relays. Learn to adapt quickly. There's going to be so many different things that come up that are unexpected. And so you just have to be able to learn to adapt and adjust to those different things. And you'll be fine if you do that. I built those professional relationships, like I said, with Blake, Trey, Ben, just everybody there. I think I've really made a good relationship with. And I hope that I left the relays better than when I got there, is truly what I hope. And contributed to a major event. The Drake relays, I'd heard about it being from Kansas City in the Midwest region, but I didn't really understand just how big it was until I got to Iowa and I heard about it. And then, especially when I've started working the event and seeing just how much people care about it and everything that goes into it, I can see why it is what it is. One of America's, if not America's best, top track and field events. And I just truly, truly enjoyed working at the relays, and I wouldn't do anything different. They Working at the relays has gained me the opportunity to get my graduate assistantship at Western Illinois, where I'll be studying sports management, my master's degree, and I got it fully paid for. And I don't think I would have got that position if I didn't work for Drake and I didn't gain the experience that I gained and meet the people that I met. So that's something that I'll never take for granted. I will cherish every moment that I've spent there, and it's truly been a remarkable internship. So that's all I have here. So thank you for listening to me. I hope my presentation was insightful and will help future interns in their journeys. And that is all. Thank you.